In this segment, Majida and I talk about practical ways to quiet the noise, reset your mindset, and bring yourself back to the center. It's simple, real, and something you can start today. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. So last time we went into the definition of intuition as well as what is rumination. A lot of people were confused about both, and I think that some of the questions that I got from people, I got a lot of anecdotals from people who listened to the show the first time around, and for some people, intuition seems out of reach, right? And there are people who are ruminating. They didn't realize that's what it was, right? So we really went into it and delved into where does it stem from, what are some things that can trigger it, and different scenarios where people would ruminate about things that basically it's a way they're thinking they're solving their problem, but they're not, because that can create more anxiety. And if it's a trauma situation, they're reliving the trauma in the present, because they can't get rid of the thought, and rumination can come in many ways, not just what you're thinking, but it could affect your actions, right? Because our thoughts affect our actions, and also it can keep you stagnated from moving forward, right?
It's a mental static.
Exactly. And so people are afraid to take risks. For example, if I am fearful about an outcome of something, because I've had some bad experiences in the past, that will prevent me from taking a leap of faith, if you will, right? Because I'm afraid that, in the past when I tried something out, I failed. So if I do it again, the same thing might happen to me, right? So we need to help people to think about situations in the moment. And to get there, it takes some work. So I will share with some of the things that I do with my clients when they come to me, and once we identify that they are actually ruminating and not really solving anything, they're going through that loop. And I use that metaphor of like that hamster, running to that wheel, and basically you're getting nowhere because you're not going to solve the problem by thinking about it. Basically, you're not solving the problem, right? And we said a great metaphor for intuition is a compass. It's guiding you calmly. It's a situation where you have that gut feeling, and I think you said you have that hunch that this is a good time, right? If it's that job, I should do it now. For a person who wants to meet their significant other, I think this is the moment, this is the person, right? But if I have a lot of clutter, a lot of unresolved issues, I have a lot of anxiety, it's very difficult for me to meet the moment, right?
Absolutely.
So what are some things you would suggest that people do to, first of all, to get rid of the clutter?
First thing first, I would say that you need to acknowledge that you are ruminating. And you said something very important. People are emotionally ignorant. They don't know what is this emotion that having. Most people will tell you, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm angry. But when you know what it is, it's easier to tap into it. So number one, acknowledge that you are ruminating. And it's not a bad thing. Acknowledge it. And when you acknowledge you are ruminating, you actually accepting it. You're not refusing it. You're not oppressing it. You're not creating a blockage. You get where I'm going.
Yes.
So once you do, where does rumination occurs? In the head. Right? You need to get out of the head and be in the body. Walk. When you walk, you're not in the mind. You are in the body. Right? So this is one, and please don't minimize this strategy.
Oh, yes. And
I really believe, like really whoever is listening, people think walking is just walking. When you are in that situation, when you are finding yourself overthinking, ruminating, basically having that mental static, Get out. Start walking. So what you do is actually getting yourself out of the head into the body.
Right.
That's number one.
No, and that's an action, right? You're taking an action.
Bingo.
And oftentimes I tell clients, like, and I do this for myself, especially because part of being a mental health counselor is also practicing my own self-care,
You have
right?
to walk the
and
walk.
part of my, absolutely, I live it, right? I don't just speak it, I don't just say
You
it.
gotta have to do
So
it.
one of the things that I do, and I've been doing this for years, not even making the connection, not realizing that I was putting some of this into practice, is I take a walk in nature. Taking a walk in the park, and some people are running, they're doing whatever type of exercise they want. But once you're walking, like you said, it stops your brain from doing that looping, right? Because you're in the present. And one of the reasons we say nature is because it removes all of the distractions, right? The cars, the people walking by, the excitement, or the overstimulation. It removes all of that. So now you are, and there's been studies that are done on this, showing that when you are in nature, you are one with nature. It gives you your creativity comes up, reflection about who you are, your life.
You're grounded.
You're grounded. Oh my gosh. And for me, I feel after a walk, it's like going swimming. Some people do swimming.
I love swimming.
That's another way.
That's what I do. I love swimming.
It's another way of really resetting the brain, right?
Absolutely, and trick the brain, because guess what?
Absolutely.
And that's why I believe in change. A lot of people tell you, well, people don't change. I agree. If you don't do the necessary work, and you think by going to the therapy or seeing a coach, you're going to change.
Right.
No,
Right.
you need to do the dirty work, as I said last time. Very important. Take action. Be accountable. Find the body to be accountable. Like send him a message. Say, this is what I'm going to do today. And he's going to ask you or she's going to ask you, so that you actually challenging yourself. So you have to do the work.
Right.
You need to do that work. So basically, yes, walking. I'm big on walking. I'm big on swimming. There is another strategy that I would highly recommend is breathing.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'm going to stop here and tell my audience that breathing, it's not necessarily, you need to have a technique. It's just what you do every day when you are conscious, but it goes automatically. You do it, I mean, subconsciously rather. Now you're going to do it consciously.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. You breathe in and breathe out. You actually follow the process, being present in it. So what it does, it stops.
Stops
It
the looping in your
stops
brain.
the mental chatter.
right.
Automatically try it right now. So if you stop right now and take a deep breath, and then exhale, you actually not thinking anymore.
Right.
So this is another technique. And the second or third technique is actually counting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you count, while counting 5, name 5 things you can see.
Right? This is a grounding method. And there's different methods of counting as well. There's so many out there. And oftentimes, and you touch on something that was very interesting, because I would have clients who'd say to me, you know what, I don't think I'm breathing most of the time. I don't even know what it feels like. And I said, honestly, you need to stop and think about that, right? So I have people who are afraid to stand up to people, confront people with different situations that are happening, where they are afraid to set boundaries, right? So what happens is that their heart starts to race, they get nervous, and I said, well, have you ever just stopped and just breathe? Because immediately that stops the brain. It interrupts that looping, it interrupts that fear, right? You're resetting your brain in that moment when you're doing breathing.
Interrupt the fear,
Right.
but also breathing magically activate the parasystematic nervous system.
Yes.
Because what's activated when you are not breathing and you are anxious, it's the sympathetic system.
Right.
So when you start breathing, magically, divinely, it activates that. It gives you that calm,
It calms you.
safe,
Yes.
Because when you are ruminating, you are in fear.
Right.
And fear is necessary. But when it goes to being fearful for everything and anything, that's no more helpful.
Absolutely.
So yes,
Absolutely.
breathing, you're right.
I find that works very well with children. A lot of times when my students are upset about something, I mean, they could be crying, they lost something, they're nervous about a test, and I would stop and pull them aside and say, let's do some breathing right now.
Oh, wow.
Right? Initially, they're like, oh, I want to breathe. Like, try it, let's do it together. And all of a sudden, you see that they calm down. They're able to express themselves better, right? And articulate what they're feeling, right? So people underestimate that. It's just part of who we are, but we don't do it, right? So, yes, so the breathing exercises, there are different methods, and people can look them up, and I'll add some to the chat as well. Whatever works for you. You know, I know a lot of us when we were younger, we heard count to 10, breathe and count to 10. No, it really does work. So I like that you were just, showing some steps on how to do it, because that's what I do with the clients sometimes. Even when they just sit down initially, how was your day? Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened to me. Oh, I'm like, well, let's stop. Let's just breathe, okay? And I like the fact that you said acknowledging. Because sometimes fear is about not wanting to acknowledge the pain that you're feeling in the moment. And some of us use different distractions, right? And I always ask people, so what's your drug, right? For some people it might be, I have a couple of beers and my world will look different. For some people, it's gambling.
Listen to music.
Well, that would be a nice,
It's a good
it would be a
drop.
good strategy,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
But
good
that's not
drop.
what we usually do in the bad things,
I see.
because that's what keeps us, helps us to
Distracted.
avoid. It's a distraction method,
And filling up the gap. You're
right? To
You're right.
avoid the real issue at hand. I don't want to face the fear or the pain. So what I will do, what comes naturally for me, whatever it is. For some people it might be, like I said, maybe it's shopping. Maybe a shopaholic. I've been guilty of that myself.
Okay.
So you have to see what is your current coping strategy, and how can you replace it with one of those things. Like we said, acknowledging. What am I feeling in the moment?
Yes, acknowledging. And you said something that actually inspired me to share this, is basically pain is necessary. It is necessary. What's not necessary is suffering. It's optional.
Right.
So when you let that pain teach you, guide you, I'm not saying it's easy, but you need to develop the art of detachment.
Right.
Detach yourself from this emotion or this specific. Both of them are equal, and they both gonna happen, no matter how you slice it. You want to hide, you want to fill up the gap, you want to go shop, you want to do your nails, you want to, I don't know what you're going to be doing, but it's still going to be happening. So you might as well learn how to deal with it,
Right.
how to cope with it, how to let it flow into you. So yes, we talked about breathing.
Right.
We talked about walking.
Right.
And
Right.
and
And meditation, right? Because part of breathing exercises can be whether you're doing meditation or you're doing stretching, because all of those activities help you to get in touch with your body. You can sense in your body where you might be feeling pain that you have ignored, and where is it coming from, right?
and
Is
it
it
quietens the mind.
right?
That's the
So that's one of the ways that you can actually get into the breathing mode if it's still difficult for you, because there's guided breathing videos out there that you can follow.
Absolutely.
But meditation, exercises, yes, affirmations,
Oh
absolutely.
my God. My husband is going crazy with my writing all over the places. He's like, stop.
Where are you putting your affirmations, by the way? Where do you put them?
Fridge, my bathroom, next to my mirror, by my bed. And these are very important to me because this is what I see in the morning.
Right.
This is how I sleep in the evening. And when I go cooking, I remind myself.
Right.
So I am a big one on affirmation.
And you can put it in your phone. right? That
Oh,
could be
absolutely. I have one
when
here.
you pick up the phone, you can
Oh,
have that
I
as
love
a.
it. I have one that reminds me of whatever. You are beautiful. You're enough. You are, all these things, they actually trick your brain. You start
Right.
believing, because all what happens is our limiting belief that make us think that whatever we are ruminating about, that scenario we are saying, it's true.
Right.
So instead, you trick it
Right.
to believe something that's gonna bring you to a more
And build your
beneficial.
self-confidence as well, right?
Right? Because if you are speaking, if you're looping in your mind negative thoughts, you're thinking, like I always try this out with my students, right? Sometimes, like if they're about to take a test, they say, oh, I know I'm going to fail. Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness.
And I often say, you know what I use? I use athletes often about when I make this, help them to see the connection. I said, what do you normally hear from athletes? Especially, I want to talk about before they go into a game and after.
Next time, we explore simple cognitive behavioral tools and coping strategies you can use to manage your thoughts, emotions, and everyday challenges.